In the heart of Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, a man walked quietly through the morning market. No red carpet. No camera flashes. No official motorcade. Just a plain man in a white cotton shirt, worn-out brown trousers, and a faded cap shading his eyes. No one paid him any attention. Not the elderly woman selling roasted maize. Not the shoeless children playing near the fruit stalls. Not even the young mechanic arguing over the price of a spark plug. But this man was President Ibrahim Traoré. That morning, Ibrahim had told his wife, "They tell me the streets are calm. That the people are content. But my soul tells me otherwise. I must see for myself." She touched his hand, worried. "You carry more than power, Ibrahim. You carry hope. Be careful." He gave her a soft smile. "I will return before the shadows grow long." He moved among the people, watching, listening. Laughter mixed with the clang of metal, the aroma of spices, and the heat of the sun. This was his country. These were his people. Then, he heard it. A young boy stood on a crate with a makeshift radio, his voice crackling through static. Breaking news. The president is in danger. Assassins hiding in plain sight. Tonight, they will strike. The words cut through the noise like a blade. Most people laughed. They thought it was just a child playing make-believe. But Ibrahim froze. His blood turned cold. He pushed through the crowd and stood before the boy, blending in like any curious bystander. "Where did you hear that, little man? Who wants to know? I enjoy good stories. But this one feels different. It's real, uncle. I swear. I heard it on my shortwave radio last night. Some men, talking in codes. But they slipped. I heard the name. President Traoré. They said tonight, during the council meeting." The boy reached into a plastic bag and pulled out a dusty recorder, one with peeling buttons and a battery held in place by rubber bands. "I recorded it. Do you want to hear?" Ibrahim nodded silently. The boy pressed play. Static. Then low, tense voices. "He won't make it to tomorrow. We strike tonight. The council is compromised. Guards are in place." The president's heart pounded. He recognized the voice. A man who had once sworn loyalty. A man who had sat beside him just yesterday, nodding with false respect. "Do you know where this signal came from?" "I traced the frequency. It came from an abandoned building near the old radio tower. I know because radios are my life. My father was a radio officer. He died in the conflict. I live in a broken bus now. But I kept his tools. I listened to the air." The president stared at the child, not with pity, but with a deep, shaking realization. This boy, from the streets, had uncovered what the intelligence agencies missed. "Come with me." I can't. They'll find me. I sleep in a bus. Look at me." The boy blinked. Then his mouth fell open. You're the president." "Yes. And tonight, you ride with me." Two guards stepped forward, now alert. "Sir, we need to move. If this is true, you can't attend the council." "Not tonight. We'll reroute." "But the boy comes with us. He is no longer a street child. He is now under the protection of the presidency. They disappeared into a narrow alley, the dust swirling behind them. The crowd returned to their lives, unaware that a silent war had just been averted. But not everyone was blind. A man in a black cap stepped out of the crowd, eyes sharp. He made a call. He knows. The president knows. That night, the council meeting was cancelled. The traitors were quietly detained. Not a shot was fired. No headline reported the story. But history was changed. Because a boy with a broken radio dared to listen. And a president had the courage to believe him. Weeks passed. The country never heard the full story. The newspapers reported a routine security shuffle. A few officials were dismissed. No reasons were given. Just silence and calm. But within the palace walls, changes were unfolding. President Ibrahim ordered an internal investigation. Silent, thorough, and far-reaching. The traitors had woven themselves deep into the fabric of government. Men he once trusted. Men who wore smiles but sharpened knives behind his back. Each one was quietly removed. No grand speeches. No arrests broadcast on television. Just empty offices, and new, loyal faces quietly stepping in. And the boy. He was no longer sleeping in a broken bus. A room was prepared for him within the presidential residence. Not because he was a symbol or a PR stunt, but because he was a reminder. A living truth that wisdom doesn't always wear suits, and that vigilance can come from unexpected places. His name was Issa. And every morning, after breakfast, he sat with Ibrahim in a sunlit room filled with radios, maps, and books. The president listened to Issa's ideas, let him speak freely, and even asked him to explain how frequencies worked. "I want to learn how to listen," Ibrahim told him one morning. "Not just to the people, but to the silence in between. That's where danger often hides." Issa smiled. "It's like tuning a radio. Sometimes, the clearest messages come when you move just a little." One day, Ibrahim invited Issa to a private cabinet meeting. The ministers stared, confused, as the boy entered in clean clothes and took a seat beside the president. "This young man heard something no one else did," Ibrahim said. "He saved my life, and perhaps this nation. From today, he will be trained in intelligence, communication, and leadership. One day, he might sit where I sit." The room was silent. But the message was clear. Change was no longer coming from the top down, it was rising from the streets, from the forgotten corners, from the voices that were once ignored. Ibrahim launched a national program soon after. One that invested in youth radio clubs, street surveillance awareness, and technology training for orphans and street children. He called it the Issa Initiative. Thousands of children across Burkina Faso began building radios, tracing signals, and learning how to detect threats, not with guns, but with knowledge. Issa became a symbol, not of poverty, but of purpose. And Ibrahim. He continued walking the markets. Sometimes alone. Sometimes with Issa. No longer just to see, but to be seen. To remind the people that leadership is not about distance, but presence. Burkina Faso changed, not with loud revolutions, but with quiet awakenings. And it all began with a broken radio, a brave boy, and a president who chose to listen. Because sometimes, the strongest walls are not built from stone, but from trust. And in the heart of Africa, a legacy was born. African legacy, Real stories. Real leaders. Subscribe for more.